Hi, it's Shelley, and welcome to my channel. What are we doing today? Well, as promised, I am going to be bringing you a monthly video giving you what my expenses are for my 6-month stay here in Puerto Morelos. And now, while I'm thinking about it, I just wanted to make a correction to one of my earlier videos that I put out saying that there was no Uber in Puerto Morelos, and apparently there is. So I cannot make any comments on it because I've never used it, but I just wanted to make that correction. I stand corrected. If you've used Uber in Puerto Morelos, tell us in the comments what your experience was. I'm really curious to know how it is actually working here. Okay, back to the budget. This budget covers the period of the month of November 2024. Now, I arrived October 29th, so at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about some of my beginning expenses that were in October that aren't included in this budget. It's just easier to track my, in the app that I use, it's easier to track my expenses on a calendar month basis. First up is accommodation. I may have mentioned in my earlier budget video that my rent here is 12,000 pesos per month plus utilities. It converted to $900.35 Canadian. I didn't have an electric bill this month because CFE only bills you bi-monthly, and November isn't a billing month. So I will be getting my bill in December for the months of November and December, and that'll be included in my December budget. Metered water is billed at a minimum of 273 pesos per month, and that's what I was charged in November. Now, in my water bill expense, I also include the jugs of water that I buy, and I go through about one of those a week. So for November, my cost for water was $22.19 Canadian. My internet charge is 389 pesos per month. It's fiber optic and it works pretty well most of the time. So that converts to $26.68 Canadian. My maintenance fees this month, where I just count in this, is the tips that I paid to my garbage pickup guys. So I give them, about 50 pesos a week. And so the total was $10.41 Canadian. For cell phone service, as you may know, we Canadians are one of the highest cell phone charges in the world. And this summer when I was home, I had to get a new phone. And I found that finally there was a plan that was offering Mexico as part of the coverage for my cell phone service. While it's expensive and we're used to that, it does solve my problem for the two-step verification that I need for my banking, my Revenue Canada, those sorts of things. And this is something that I've struggled with for the past 3 years being in Mexico. So my monthly cell phone bill is $121.24. Now at home, and that gives me 200 gigabytes of data. So at home, I don't even have Wi-Fi. I can get by with that, just my cell phone service. So that's why I did that. It's because I could cancel my Wi-Fi and it ended up being cheaper for me on a month-to-month basis. Now, if you're using a Mexico SIM card while you are here, it's going to be much cheaper for you. There are plans, it's just pay as you go, and there are plans that anywhere from 50 pesos to 500 pesos, depending on how much data you need, what length of time you need, and that sort of thing. So your cell phone costs are probably going to be much cheaper than mine. Okay, the next, after accommodation and related expenses, the next biggest expense for most people is going to be food, which includes groceries and eating out. And if you watch any of my videos, which I hope you do, you will see that I cook at home a lot and I eat out a lot. In November, I spent $469.46 on my groceries, including alcohol, since I buy that at the grocery store, and $139.73 on eating out and delivery. So my total bill for food was $609.19 Canadian. So that works out to about $150 a week. I eat out about twice a week, and I eat well. I go out to restaurants portside as well as up here in La Colonia, and my takeout will come from both sides as well. So that gives you a pretty good average on what it costs to eat out here in Porto. Now, I do take advantage of any specials that they will have, the little restaurants in town, like El Diaz had a special buy one, get one at 50% off. So I ordered two to save some money. And then I just throw the extra up in the freezer and I pull it out and throw it in the air fryer for meals later on. Mem El Mer also has a 2-for-1 pizza special on Tuesday. So again, I went out on a Tuesday night, ordered a large pizza. My friend ordered a large pizza. We split the cost because it was 2-for-1. And I ended up bringing half of a pizza home and throwing it in the freezer. So next on my expense list is transportation. I usually walk wherever I'm going or I take the Colectivo. When I need groceries, I'll walk or take the Colectivo down to the Chedraui, and then I will load my groceries into a taxi to come home. I do my groceries, large groceries, about once a week. I also go to the beach once a week or so, and then I just take the Colectivo down there as well. I go into Playa del Carmen maybe once a month, and again, local Colectivos for the transportation there. My total transportation cost for November was $13.15. So it's extremely reasonable. Most of the things I need to do are within walking distance. It's a small town, or I can just use the local transportation. So I didn't spend any money on entertainment this month because I spent the first part of the month getting settled in, and I went to the beach a couple of times. I went out for dinner, and those expenses were included in previous categories in my budget. So my total cost for November was $1,703.21 Canadian, or about $1,212 US. Now, that wasn't all the money I spent. That's just my living, accommodation, and my food, because these other items that I'm going to talk about next are completely discretionary, and they are different for everybody. So first up was medical. I buy a 6-month insurance policy for my time in Mexico, and my premium is $1,622.94 for the 6 months. So this works out to $270.49 per month. In November, I visited an optometrist, and I also went to the dentist and got my teeth cleaned. At the optometrist, I got new glasses. So the total bill for November for medical, including my monthly insurance and the 2 services I had here, was $381.25. Next on my list is tips and donations. Now, in tips, I include, a tip that I give to my Amazon delivery guy. And this year, for donations in November, I contributed to the local program to providing meals for families for Christmas. So my total budget for November was $133.36 for tips and donations. I spent $198.63 on household purchases, what I call household purchases. These were just things that I needed to get myself initially set up. I think I showed you my screen doors, just some things that I needed for the house to do me for the 6 months here. I won't spend that every month. This was just in my initial setup. Now, I have Penny, and she comes with a cost. Good thing she's so cute. Her food costs me $67.51 per month. And we had 2 trips to the vet in November, which cost $143.47, including the consultations and the medications we had to get for her. So Penny's budget, $210.98. My grand total budget for November for all of my living expenses and personal expenditures was $2,627.43, which at the current rate of conversion roughly converts to about $1,870 US dollars. At the first of the video, I mentioned I was going to talk about some expenses that I had in October when I first arrived that wasn't included in my November budget. So I'm just going to go over those now. The first one I want to talk about is my airport transportation. Now, up in Canada, my airport is approximately 2.5 to 3 hours away, depending on traffic. And I have Penny, so I can't take public transportation. Not only that, but I just can't handle her, plus my large suitcases and all that stuff. So I have to take a private transfer. So in Canada, airport transportation costs me $300. Now here, when I arrive in Cancun, this year I did something different. Normally I will take a private airport transfer, Carla or Victor or somebody that I know will come and get me and pick me up at the friends and family exit of the airport. But this year what I did was I rented a car, and my friends rented it for me actually because they were here, and then they picked me up at the airport. It was great. So what they also did for me was I had my items stored in a storage unit. So the day before I arrived home, they went to my storage unit for me. They got the key to my house, and they picked up and unloaded all my things from the storage unit using the car that we had rented. So the cost for the car rental, including gas for a full 24 hours, was 1,200 pesos, which worked out to about $84. Next was my startup groceries, because I was starting here with nothing, and that cost me 225 Canadian to get in all the staples I would need to get my pantry started. So I hope this video was helpful in providing you with some information about what it costs to stay here in Puerto Morelos, Mexico for the month of November. So I will put out another video in about a month. I'm going to do this each month so you can follow along and just see what it costs. And then at the end, we'll do like a grand total to let you know what it cost me for the whole 6 months. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.